Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Monday the 5th of July 2021. Today's Millwall news. Rowett is speaking about transfers now. We've had 5 signings so far this summer. Some amazing business was done on Friday. Signed Benicophobe and George Saville. Also signed Scott Malone, Daniel Ballard. And so Rowett said no more will be coming in until players leave. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, which is the South London Press's online website. It says Millwall set to move players on before there's any more incoming transfer activity. Millwall could make one more signing in this transfer window, but the next activity is likely to be a couple of players leaving. The Lions have made 5 additions to their squad in the close season. There were 3 incomings last week, with the loan signings of Benicophobe and Daniel Ballard from Stoke and Arsenal respectively, as well as the permanent return of George Saville. Rowett told the South London Press, "I think you can see from the outside that we've brought in those 5 players, so it makes mathematical sense that there are going to be 1 or 2 probably on the back of that who might have opportunities to go and play regular football elsewhere. It's not something that there is it's not something that is there at the moment, but it might well be. There will still be a little bit of balancing off with the squad, but the majority of where we're at and the work is done. It might be that if 1 or 2 players leave, then maybe we're in a position at the end of the window to bring 1 more player in. I'm a manager and I'm always going to look for more signings, but at the same time I like the stability and feel of the group. I'm grateful for the work the club has put in to make the signings we've made so far." Rowett had previously spoken about a need to get deals across the line before the players reported back to pre-season training last Wednesday. Phobe and Saville signed just after that, but were still sealed comfortably before the squad head up to Scotland later this week for a training camp and behind closed doors friendly against Motherwell. "I'm really pleased to get the deals done," said Rowett. "It's not the be-all and end-all, but it's nice to get your group together and have a few days training before we head up to the pre-season training camp. Some years you head up there with 3 or 4 players who might not be here, or 3 or 4 you might not have got in yet. All of a sudden you've got a swing of maybe 6 or 7 places and you're trying to work as though the season is about to start. It certainly helps have the majority of the players in that we're going to sign. We might end up doing one more if we get the opportunity. Realistically, it's a great start for the window. We've got a chance to get work in, make sure the players are fully prepared for the start of the season." So there you go. Who will that be? Is that Josh Windass? They're still trying to get him? Trying to get someone else? Who knows? Who knows what's happening? So the Rowett's said some other stuff as well about transfers, and that's about the League One situation. So this is also from londonnewsonline.co.uk. And it says Millwall boss explains why League One moves could be tricky to conclude. Millwall looks set to listen to offers for some of their squad, but manager Gary Rowett reckons that League One clubs will struggle to pay a big enough percentage of salaries to make loan deals worthwhile. Iceland striker John Dadibod Varsson was linked with Portsmouth and AFC Wimbledon over the weekend. We broke the news earlier in the summer that the Lions were ready to part with the former Reading man. And Portsmouth have continually been linked in recent seasons with bringing Ben Thompson back to the South Coast. The attacking midfielder faces increased competition for game time after the South London club resigned George Saville at the end of last week. "There have been a lot of speculation about League One clubs for some of our players, which is natural," Rowett told the South London Press. "But it's difficult for League One clubs at this moment in time to spend a decent amount of wages to secure a Championship player on a Championship contract. I'm not so bothered about all of those things. I'm more bothered about strengthening our team. If there is a player who hasn't played much and wants to go and play regular football, it's only right to give them opportunity if it works for all parties. That's becoming more difficult. Players on decent contracts. It's not great business, for example, to let someone go out on 25% of their money. At that point, it makes more sense to keep them around and use them yourselves when you need to. You want to see happy players and you want to see players playing and performing at the maximum. You can always do that at the same club with 25 players. That's just a simple numbers game. Most clubs will have that issue this season. Clubs won't make inquiries to me. They'll make inquiries to Harvey or Steve. I'll be really honest. I tend to let them get on with it and do what they need to do. If they come to me with something that is interesting, then we'll sit down as a group. Otherwise, all you hear all week is noise when you're trying to focus on the team, the players, and how we work. At the moment, we're working with everybody who is in the building as if they are here for the whole season. That will only change if I get told there's an opportunity for someone that we'll look at. So there you go. Is he saying? Is that a coded message to Portsmouth saying we're not loaning you Ben Thompson? You need to pay, you need to buy him. You need to sign him. Maybe not. But yeah. So he give them the quote there of 25%. So he's saying if you're only offering to pay 25% of our players' wages, it's not worth our time, because we might as well have him here as a sort of emergency to come on the bench if we need him. So yeah, maybe he's talking about specifically coded language, or maybe he's just talking generally. I don't know. But we could be seeing John Daddy Budvarson and Ben Thompson leaving, or maybe not leaving. Isaac Olofi, I think Isaac Olofi is going to get loaned out again. I mean, he signed Benica Fobi. I said in earlier videos about a month ago that it seems he's already made his mind up. I mean, he did really well in the conference, but I don't think Gary Rowett rates that. He's the manager of a championship team, Millwall, and that's a long way from conference football. So I think, but then you would think, well, what if he goes on loan to a League One club and does the same, and then he can turn around and say, well, yeah, well, you did it in League One, you didn't do it in the Championship. So it's a never-ending circle of, oh, you're not playing in the Championship. Well, if you don't play the player in the Championship, he can't prove to you in the Championship that he's a Championship player. So yeah, what else do you expect him to do? We'll see. I think as well, I think we can see Alex Mitchell being loaned out. Yeah, we've already seen Aidan Muller loaned out. We'll see how it goes. So let's move on now to this, another pre-season friendly, but just for the under 23s, and they're going to Dulwich Hamlet. Yeah, so under 23s to meet Dulwich Hamlet in friendly. Young Lions travel to Champion Hill. This is from millfc.co.uk, club's official website. It says Millwall under 23s will play Dulwich Hamlet in a pre-season friendly at Champion Hill on Thursday the 15th of July, kick-off 7 p.m. So that is before all the COVID restrictions are removed, which will be on the 19th of July. So that's next week. I think that'll be their first game, though. I think the Eastbourne game was after that. So it seems that that's probably going to be a massive restriction on fans, masks and all that. It's probably too much of a bollock to be worth going to as a fan, to be honest with you. Personally, I'm waiting until after the 19th of July. I wonder if a lot of clubs will be, even though that's a Monday the 19th, if a lot of clubs will be doing fixtures on that day, just so they can get the first proper crowd in for a pre-season game. We'll see, maybe, because this game's on Thursday. I doubt they'll be playing on. Maybe they will be playing on Saturday. Maybe they could put a game in on Monday. That would make sense. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So the club will update supporters accordingly on the possibility of attending the fixture due to COVID restrictions. So they're basically saying no away fans there. That's code. I think that's code for no Millwall fans. But how are they going to tell if you're a Millwall fan or not? Well, it's Dulwich Hamlet, so they all look a bit weird, don't they? I think, yeah. So there you go. First game next week, under 23s, playing Dulwich Hamlet. So, moving on to this story, which I thought was pretty interesting. This is from news@then.co.uk, and it's about a former youth player being given a coaching role. So, Millwall Academy graduate grateful for second Lions chance following youth coaching role. Chris Parr's playing days at Millwall didn't quite go to plan, but the former Lions Academy graduate is desperate to give back to the club that gave him two opportunities in life. Parr, who's been a lifelong Lions supporter, joined when he was 8 years old before working his way through the age groups all the way to the first team. At 18 years old, the young defender signed his first pro contract at the Den, penning a one-year deal, and had dreams of becoming a regular at senior level. However, that chance never presented itself for Parr, who was released just 12 months later in May 2016, which meant he never played a first-team game. Following his release, Parr tried his luck lower down in the Football League and even in non-league game, but to no avail. Despite his playing career being cut short, he talks with pride and passion about coming through the ranks in SE16. He said, "In a lot of ways, it was a dream come true. I went every step of the way in the academy. There was always something a little bit more when you play for the club you support, because you always go that extra mile. As you go up the ages, it starts to get more real and more serious, but ultimately, it was a fantastic experience, so I have a lot to thank the club for. I was able to leave school and play football, which is all kids' dream, even more so to do it in Millwall. It didn't work out how I wanted it to, but I still saw it as a dream come true, playing in the academy for 12 years. I'm ready to give back. They gave a lot to me. It's fantastic. And even as a coach, you give more. It's been my life." Having been released, Parr needed something to focus on, and whilst he was still trying to cut it and non-league, he turned to coaching on a part-time basis, something he enjoyed far more than playing. "It just quickly became a passion of mine," Parr admitted, "and I've had the opportunity to get qualified, and following support from Millwall and the FA, I was able to do my B licence and A licence, and to get me to a point where a full-time role would become available." But what was it like for Parr, who went from having his heart set on a career in Millwall's first team to suddenly becoming a coach at such a young age? He said, "The transition was difficult. It was devastating for me, but I consider myself lucky to get into coaching. It gave me a real focus, and ever since then it's been brilliant. I love coaching, and we've got some good people and great players at the club. Coaching is what really picked me up, so maybe that's why I'm so into it now, because it gave me a new lease of life. I'm learning on the job, but I think that's the best way to go." Parr is currently working as the lead phase coach at Millwall for under-12s to under-14s, and one day hopes to replicate his own journey by progressing through the age groups. Despite his inexperience in the coaching game, the 24-year-old is an ambitious man. "I do see that opportunity and pathway at the club, but I'm aware it's a long pathway, so this opportunity to become full-time at the club come fairly quickly in terms of my coaching career. So I'm not in a rush. Any opportunities that come up in the future, I hope that I'm ready for it, but I'm developing myself as a coach. I know how the club works. I've got good relationships with those at the club. Kenny Brown was brilliant with bringing me on part-time and has given me the opportunity to go into full-time. I get on well with Robbo. I have no doubt that if I do the right things on my behalf, then the opportunities will arrive." Despite his failure to register a first-team appearance, Parr gained valuable experience by working alongside some well-respected managers like Neil Harris, Kenny Jackett, Ian Holloway and David Livermore, the latter of which, who was Parr's coach at under-18 level, has only ever been one phone call away when he needs advice. He added, "I'm in touch with Dave. He's fantastic and he's very, very knowledgeable, and I know that if I go to him with anything, he will do his best to come back and help me. So it's about what I've learned with them, and ultimately I'm taking bits from everyone that I've worked with, so I'm really blessed to be able to use those experiences." He was in the academy at the same time as his good friend Ben Thompson, and whilst Tomo is now an established member of Gary Rowett's squad, he's proud to see so many youngsters being given minutes in the senior team. "It's massive for us, especially as academy staff," he said, "and most importantly it's huge for the players. We've got pictures up at the academy training ground of those who have gone on to play for the first team, so that is huge and it's something we try and celebrate. We like the boys in the academy to take an interest, but it makes us all proud for someone moving up to the first team." So there you go. Nice little story there about Chris Parr moving into coaching at the club. I thought that was very nice. Very nice story. So that's it for today's Millwall news. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.